Hello dear colleagues, Nikita is again with you and welcome back to our guided surgery channel Navitomia. And today we're gonna discuss an interesting topic dedicated to internal cooling system of surgical guides. As far as you know, there is such a problem in guided surgery that sometimes while drilling the navigation drill can be not so cold as there is lack of irrigation while the drill is inserted in surgical guide. So we gonna solve it today and I will show you how. I will show you the system, the logic. So take your seat, take your time and enjoy. Before we have started modeling in RealGuide, we have to do our homework, let's say it so. As a matter of fact, there is a special device which is called physio dispenser, which transfer your saline solution to the bone socket you are preparing, you are drilling. And as a matter of fact, there is a special tube which is connected to your, I would say, drilling tool. And this tube has an ending of like some kind of rubber nipple in the end of the tube. So you have to measure the diameter of this tube, diameter of this rubber nipple, in order to use this information in the further steps while modeling the guide with the inner irrigation. So I kindly asked my colleague to measure it in our clinic, and as you can see, the diameter of this tube, which is connected to physio dispenser, is about 2.4 millimeter. As a matter of fact, he squeezed it a little, this tube, and that's why he got 2.4 millimeters, but the initial diameter of this tube is 2.5 millimeters. So let's keep it in mind because we will use this information in the further steps. And now let's get back to RealGuide, and as you can see, we have already planned our implant. We have chosen the needed sleeve, as we will work with the RealGuide system here with a navigation kit, and we will not focus here on implant planning and so on. Let's just directly move to guide design. And I remind you that we have to choose the needed direction for our future guide, and there are some strange areas which can bring about malposition of the guide, and in order to avoid some mistakes of guide placement, we just assume that these areas probably are not very well scanned, and that's why we just add some volume here in order to make some extra space for guide fitting. It will not actually spoil the fitting of the guide itself, since you don't do like that, yeah? We just make some dots, some points here in order to make our volume just a bit wider here in order to make the guide fit. And what is the most important thing regarding this irrigation system, internal irrigation system inserted in the guide, is that you have to keep in mind already while making the guide, you have to keep in mind the tube. I plan to place it from platinum side, and therefore we have to make borders. We have to make borders of the guide in such a way that we also assume a tube here. Let me just show you how it's done. So here, by placing some dots, you define the pattern, you define the future border of the guide. And if it would be the normal case, in ordinary case, we would draw these dots like so. But since we will plant the tube here, we slightly make this area of tube placement a bit wider in order to create extra space for our future job. So please keep in mind that you just have to slightly create more space for it. Okay, so let's draw the border of the guide. It's quite simple. We press create guide, and if you have watched our previous videos on our YouTube channel or somewhere else, you have to know that we should provide some additional work here, like slightly smooth some unnecessary parts of the guide. We also add some volume here in order to make it solid. And also, the last but not least, control window, which allows us to estimate the fitting of the guide, if it fits or not. It's mandatory, and please always do it, since your guide is teeth supported. We would also add some volume here, but we don't need it right now because we will take some actions in the future steps, which will make this area more wider. And let's press next step. And now let's move to the sandbox. So we have moved to sandbox, and as far as you could guess, we will use instruments, we will use tools like a custom bar, because this system, I mean irrigation system itself will be like one bar is subtracted from another bar, and this will bring about the needed result. That's why firstly we have to create a bar like this in the projection of our future flow. I mean flow the saline solution. But since we have a tube with a diameter of 2.5 millimeters, I hope you remember this photo I showed you, we have to create a bigger bar here, because when we will make a tunnel inside the guide, it has to be well constructed and it has to have shells actually. So that's why we press circle. We choose here a diameter like something like between 5 or 6 millimeters. We press apply to all. Now let's create some additional space for our future job. Anyway, make sure that your bar is still in contact with the guide. Let's just turn off the implants we don't need. And make sure, yeah, you don't touch the insertion area of the sleeve. So this bigger tube is, as I have said already, has to be still in the contact with the body of the guide, and this is the future projection of your flow of the saline solution. And for sure the hole of the tunnel will be somewhere here, and in order to make that, please make sure you actually, how would say, I can even say it in Russian for really, you and your tube and your this bigger tube outside of the guide. And you also press the subtract visible objects button. It has to turn on green. You press create bar, and for sure we have to remove this part, because if we don't remove it, we will not be able to fit the guide in the mouth. So we press End tool, we press edit object, let's choose our bar number 1, and I remind you that there is a button, very nice button, which is called remove isolated components. We press remove, so the program is tending to remove this part. We press, that's why it's colored with the black. We press remove, and that's it. Press End tool, and now we have to combine all together all the stuff. We press Boolean operations, we press apply, and that's what we have got. We press End tool and see what happens in the next steps. You could probably already guess the logic, because we are going to create another bar, which we will just intersect with the main guide. So that's why we move to the custom bar. And please remember this photo I have showed you in the beginning of the video, and let's remember the size of the tube. It was 2.4 millimeters on the photo, but as a matter of fact, the diameter of this tube is 2.5 millimeters. Just the guide who made the photo a little bit squeezed with his tool this rubber nipple, and that's why he got this diameter 2.4 millimeters. But as I have said, the diameter of the tube is 2.5. What does it mean? We are going to make a hole here and are going to make a tunnel inside this model, and the initial hole has to be a bit narrow rather than diameter of the tube, in order to make it squeeze the tube, in order to make it hold the tube, because when this future tunnel will be with a diameter equal or bigger than the diameter of the tube, you will not be able to fit it there. I mean, it will fit, but it will not squeeze, it will not hold the tube we need. So that's why we press here new bar, circle, and let's choose the diameter equal to 2.4 millimeters, because the tube is the squeeze tube, 2.4 millimeters, but the normal diameter of the tube 2.5 millimeters. So having the tunnel with a diameter 2.4 millimeters, we just make this gap between the tube and our tunnel. And when you will insert the tube inside the guide will just hold it and fix the tube. I hope you understand my logic. So we press apply to all. Now let's slightly draw the line, and what we're gonna do next, the most actually annoying part because we have to make the guide transparent. So we press right button of our mouse, and let's choose transparency 50%. And now we have to place our bar inside the guide. And please keep in mind that you have to create some space between these two bars, between the guide and between the bar, because the shell will be very, very slim here. And in order to prevent the breakage of the guide, try to place this smaller bar in the middle of this bigger tube. So now we have almost done this, and we are almost set. What we're gonna do next? Firstly, we have to think of two exits. The first, actually, it's not an exit; it's most likely entrance of the tube. So here is the place where our tube will be inserted, and please here try to make the hole and the initial let's say beginning of the tunnel a bit straight, because if this bar will be fold like this, you will have troubles to insert the tube inside the guide. So I just recommend to make this part of the guide straight. That's first thing. And second thing, since you will have more folds here, the saline liquid will flow badly. So the more it's straight, the more easier flow will be. And please keep in mind. And also, what is the most important thing is the exit of this tunnel, because the projection of this tunnel is extremely important here. Don't hesitate to turn on needed data, and if you see the mistake I have done here, if I will leave it like so, all of my flow will be out of the operation area, but my goal is to set the flow of the liquid to the bone socket, to the operation area, so it has to be below the sleeve. So I just visualize the sleeve. Let's turn off anatomy scan, and the exit of the tunnel must be somewhere here. Let's make it so. Also, I would like to tell you that it's pointless to make it like so. So please do not forget to turn on your sleeve, because when you will create the guide, you will print it, you will insert the sleeve inside the guide, you will face with a problem that actually sleeve covers your tunnel, and there will be no irrigation as well. So if you remember our first steps in the program regarding these borders, remember I have told you that we have to make them a bit, we have to make the border from palatal side a bit wider, and by these actions we have created some extra space below the sleeve. So that's why we have a place to for exit of our bar. Let's make it so. And now we have full construction of our guide. So this tube will be inserted somewhere here, and your liquid will and the saline liquid will flow in such a way right below the sleeve. So that's what we need. And also, yeah, pull out, make sure you pull out the endings of this smaller bar outside of the guide from both sides. And also, what is very important, please pay attention that in previous steps we needed to separate the tube from the body of the guide, and now we have to make such a situation that this bar will be subtracted on the future steps from the body of this main guide. That's why we turn off this button, which is called subtract visible objects. Please pay attention that it's turned off. It must be white. And now let's press create bar, and congratulations, our bar is created. Now let's end tool and see next steps. And last but not least, the thing we have to do here is to just subtract this little bar from the guide we have. That's why we go to Boolean operations. We choose here bar 2 as a needed object and our 3D model, which is called Boolean 1, because that's what we need. And please pay attention at the sequence of these files because it's important here. So object A is the object you are going to subtract from the object B, which is our main guide, and we use the operation subtract from. Offset is 0. We press apply, and that's what we got. Let's hide our anatomy scan, and here is the tunnel. Here's your tube will be inserted. I mean, not your tube actually, of user dispenser. And here is the hole for the liquid for inner irrigation of the guide. We can make this guide transparent. Let's press transparency. Let's press transparency. I don't know why it's not transparent. Okay, never mind. Let's choose here transparency. Transparency again. I don't know why it's not working. Oh yeah, okay. So here is your tunnel inside the guide, you can see, and the saline liquid will just freely flow through this tunnel, irrigating the needed area. We can also turn on the anatomy scan here just to make sure that we make a hole in the right direction. So here's will be drilling, and here will be irrigation channel. So that's it. I hope it was not so complicated, and I hope it was interesting. So many thanks for watching, dear colleagues, dear friends. I hope you enjoyed this video and this video was useful for you. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and trust me, we are preparing a lot of interesting things for you, and I hope we will stay in touch. Be safe, have a good day, bye bye.